The Modi-Xi bilateral, just talking about China and improving ties, which will also, of course, at some level deprive the West of leverage, is taking place tomorrow. This is a massive development, viewers. Very, very big development. The Modi-Xi meeting at BRICS will happen on Wednesday. This formally breaks the ice between the two countries. This meeting has not taken place at that level for a few years. If you remember, there were a large number of opposition parties in India who criticized Prime Minister Modi for shaking hands with Xi a few years back. In fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was in Southeast Asia. And they said you didn't show him, quote unquote, la langue. Now, viewers, with a bit of a thaw, these two leaders are back. This is very significant, as I was saying. And I want to bring in Sushant Sareen for some quick perspective on this. I'll bring you in, Ms. Kukreva, in just a few seconds. But Sushant Sareen, this is a big development. This meeting is taking place. It's been confirmed for tomorrow. I think it's happening in the afternoon.
So, Rahul, I think this meeting was being expected, once we announced that some kind of a deal has been struck on the border to bring down the tension and, some of the standoffs which are occurring in eastern Ladakh, that some of the outstanding issues have been sorted out. While I think we need to be careful to understand these are very tiny baby steps which have been taken place, and a lot more needs to be done. I only wonder whether this meeting which takes place tomorrow is just for optics, or does this actually, or has something been worked out which will actually, give us some kind of a roadmap on how the two countries plan to address rest of the outstanding issues as far as the border management is concerned. And then, of course, is the larger issues. I don't think that is going to happen tomorrow. The larger issue of how India and China are going to reset their relationship and then take it forward. And I think that is going to be critical also from the point of view of BRICS. I agree with what Mr. Wagmar is saying, that look, if you want BRICS to be successful, number one, I think a comparison with G7 is odious. There is no comparison, simply because regardless of what we might say that it's informal, it's a club, say what you will about G7, the countries in the G7 very closely coordinate the economic policies and the strategic policies, right? And yes, America is the Chaudhary of that group. It calls the shots, but the others also get a say in it. And they are willing allies of the Americans in that particular grouping. What will happen in the case of BRICS? Will India ever kowtow to China? Will India, for example, as Mr. Wagner asks the question, do we want a China-centric economic order in which the Chinese are going to be calling the shots? Forget about BRICS Bank that everybody has an equal partnership or equal shareholding. But we know how the Chinese operate. Brahma, more than anybody else, knows how the Chinese operate. Do we want something like that? Are we going to be comfortable with it? And a whole lot of other countries which come in. So, yes, we have a very close relationship with Russia, a relationship which we value, a relationship which we would want to deepen even more. But, if there is a China factor involved in this, and of course a couple of other countries, then there are going to be issues. There are going to be problems. So you cannot replicate the
Will
G7
there be more? Will there be greater? That's the fundamental question. Will there be greater than the ones that we have periodically also with the West, when they sort of morally lecture us, put sanctions when we tested a nuclear weapon, this, that, the other? Anyhow, I'll come